To the Travel Angel Radio Show. We're Hawaii's only travel show on radio, and I just love talking about travel because I love to travel. So I start with a little travel news and what's going on, and then we have some special guests, and it's really great to have a special friend who's really an expert on travel. My friend Robert Dubiel is also an excellent astrologer. By the way, Mercury went into retrograde today. And we'll talk about that and all the wonderful things he does and power spots and what it takes to actually move to another country like Thailand, getting visas, etc., and your choices and what's going on in that part of the world, what things you might want to know if you're thinking of maybe trying out living there. Some news. The big news here in Hawaii is about Southwest Airlines. There's been a lot of talk about it. And I really truthfully have to admit I've never been to the Southwest Airlines site before, but I did go, and because they're going to start flying here in April, but all the cheap flights were already booked up. There weren't anything flying coming back until May. Yes, Robert. What?
I was just going to ask until when.
May.
Okay.
But and then. The thing is, the cheap flights, it's like kind of a bus. You don't book a seat. You show up and you get what you want, maybe, or you might not get what you want at all. For me, not having a seat's kind of a no. Now, I did sign up, and it was pretty easy. Some places make it really hard to sign up to be a member, and I did. They're already offering special deals for that. But the things that are not the quick, just cheapest flights available, which are sold out. I put in a flight from here to San Francisco in April, and it came up, because it only goes to Oakland, I take it back, so it doesn't go to San Francisco at all. But here to Oakland and back was $600, which is not a good deal, because I had checked that out on, I like Hipmunk, I checked it on Hipmunk a couple days ago, and you could get around $400 on Hawaiian, around $400 on Alaska, and then if you got particular and wanted it not to go to Honolulu, it was getting up to about $500. But United said, yeah, we can do it too, around the same price. Then I looked, and United has that awful super low fare where you've got to take any seat they give you, and you can't have any carry-on. For me, it's a no. It's a no-brainer. I don't want to sit in the middle in the back of the bus, and I don't want to have no carry-on. So anyway, just from my experience, if I were to book it today, I'd probably go Hawaiian or Alaskan, which seem to be pretty close. And I'm thinking of getting an Alaska credit card because they have some good miles with that. So anyway, that's it's going to be an influence. People are watching it. Some people, can do it where they don't mind just showing up at the airport and try to get the cheaper flights. But, if it's all booked out, and it is right now, because there's so many flights that can come in and out, well, are you thinking about it, Southwest? Would you do it?
I'm thinking about this when I come back in July, which would be a one-way. I went on Google yesterday. Mm-hmm. And from Oakland to Maui was like $187. So this was
for
in
July, because it's further out, yes.
And you just pay $20 extra, and then you get guaranteed it's early bird. It's like the first 60 seats. Okay. So consistently, I've flown Southwest for many years, and have gotten good seat selection because I get the early bird.
For the extra $20.
Yeah.
And are you a member? Do you get that? I think there's extra.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so that makes a difference too.
Sure.
And you do get 2 bags.
Yes. For
which
free.
Is nice. For free, which is nice.
Checked bags.
Yeah, that's a goodie.
And the service is with a smile.
Is it really?
I love Southwest Airlines.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, truthfully, I haven't flown it. I flew it from Phoenix, Arizona to Los Angeles. The last time was about 4 years ago. And I'm on the window seat, and I'm looking at the window, and something's kind of flying in the wind out there. And so, sure enough, the pilot comes on and says, we're going to have to turn around and go back to Phoenix. I heard, what is flying? And there was like something about 4 feet long kind of flying off the wing. I don't think it was a person. And they said there was something broken in the air conditioning. I don't know, but that was a strange one. And they have had some issues with people saying the maintenance isn't as much as it should be.
Yes, that's what I've heard too.
And that the weights aren't always correct as far as their up to 1,000 pounds wrong as far as their weights and checks. So, but when you're trying to do a kind of a low-cost flight, sometimes for you it's been a good experience. So
I've
that's
never
good to
had
know.
a bad experience with them over dozens of times.
Well, that's very good to hear. I haven't flown Alaska in an age. I mean, I liked Alaska last I flew it, but it's been a long time. But a lot of people really like Alaska, and Alaska's been pretty aggressive as far as good deals and offering extra points for credit cards, etc.
Because of the competition.
Yeah, and there's a lot of competition out there, and a lot of people are very unhappy with United, and I mean, and for good reason, You've flown Korean because you live in Thailand, and you always had good luck with Korean Airlines, but
until recently, they have been late. The last 2 flights I've taken with them, so I've missed my connecting flights.
That's not good, yeah.
But yesterday I checked this. I guess I must have did this so I could relate this on the air. But they were on time. They were actually on time getting to Korea.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you like to be on time. I hate to say it, but these days, a lot of the flights really are not on time, and I always never book a connecting flight if it's 45 minutes or an hour. I say no. I need to have it now. These days, pretty much, I like at least an hour and 15 minutes, or an hour and 30 minutes. I don't like to sit on the ground that long, or for me, an hour and 30 minutes goes by fast. But just too many things happen where you can have a delay of an hour, and the stress of missing a flight and missing a connection is really not worth it.
No, I didn't like it last week. Next week I'm flying to the mainland on American, taking red eye to Phoenix and then on to San Antonio.
Oh, they fly direct from Honolulu.
Maui.
Oh, from Maui.
No, from Maui.
I didn't know
that. If I never go to the Honolulu airport again, I'd be perfectly happy.
So was that a pretty good price going from an American?
Yeah, it was quite good. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know, because I haven't flown American in, God, I don't know how many, 25 years.
I've had consistently better experience with them than I have with United.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. United used to be good experience, and there's just, with this latest issue that a couple of issues that have been kind of strange that they've done, but the latest low fare thing is just, it's not working for a lot of people, I don't think. And it's like, well, you're giving you prices on what they call the low fare that used to be the regular fare. And they're saying that's the price. Now, I used to be able to get a comparable fare on United. And now they just say, oh, well, then you go on the low fare with no service and no carry-on, or except, no overhead. And that doesn't work. But anyway, there's reasons people are not happy with United, unfortunately. I know a lot of people are cruising. Cruising is bigger and bigger and bigger than ever. And a lot of people who cruise have found out about Cruise Critic. It's become very, very popular for people who connect before a cruise. And they just had a best of. And Celebrity did pretty well. The best cruise, overline Cruise Critic winner for large cruise ships was Celebrity Equinox. Midsize was Riviera, which is, again, a Celebrity. Oh, no, that's Oceania. I've been on that. I like the Oceania pretty well. The best cruise ship cabin overall was Harmony of the Seas. And the second was Celebrity Reflection. And the best cruise ship for dining was the Celebrity Equinox and then the Celebrity Eclipse. Best cruise ship for entertainment was the Symphony of the Seas. And the second one was, let's see what else. Oh, yeah, best cruise ship for service was Celebrity Eclipse and Celebrity Equinox. So Celebrity Eclipse and Equinox are now both in there. And the best cruise ship for river was Viking. Viking Vidar and Viking Loft, Lofn. And coming in third was Ama. Now, of course, I think taking into consideration that some of these celebrity cruises are booked more often, that might affect people's chances to vote for it, because if you've had more celebrity cruises, you're going to get it out there. But I know a lot of people are preferring Oceania. After my last celebrity cruise experience, I think I would prefer prefer Oceania over celebrity, but celebrities become more popular, and to me that's not a plus. To me, I liked it better when they weren't so popular, because now it's kind of overcrowded and overbooked, and when you get to that point, then you don't get the deals you used to get. Or it looks like you're getting the deals, and all of a sudden they're nickel and diming you to the point where you're actually paying more than you thought you'd be paying, because you pay for water, you pay for breathing, you pay for everything, and I think they learned this from the airlines, because the airlines now, pay for as much as you can imagine being paid for, and that's how they're making all their money. So that's kind of the news and what's been going on there. Oh, and one of the best stuff, this is from a company I never heard of, Rough Travel. Rough Travel says Scotland is the most beautiful country in the world. They asked everyone who they thought the most beautiful country in the world. In the past, it's been New Zealand and Canada, and now Scotland got the title of most beautiful country in the world. Scotland is beautiful. I mean, the Scottish Highlands, Loch Lomond, and all that is lovely, but I have to say, I still like New Zealand was gorgeous. I love New Zealand. I have to say, I think I'd vote for New Zealand still. There's a growing crowd for, of course, now Finland and Norway and Iceland as well. But Scotland got the best country according to Rough Travel. And my mind kind of bongles at what Rough Travel is. I don't know. I really don't know what Rough Travel is. Something I try to avoid. I don't like rough travel. So we're going to talk with Robert now. I've known Robert for about 25 years. About 25 years, I think, 25 years. And we met here on Maui, and I've had just really great experiences with Robert. He's a world traveler who basically has got friends and clients all over the world and can travel and stay with friends, which is an ideal. I think a lot of people dream about doing this, Robert. You have spoken at many places. You've had classes. You get to be really good friends with people. You're a people person. And now, because of that, you can travel to, well, you're going to go to Austin. Is it Austin next? No, not Austin.
San Antonio, New Braunfels, Texas.
Yeah.
Which I've never visited.
I never have either.
Because my friend Gigi has invited me for years, and I'm finally going.
And so that will be a fun experience. And again, it should be interesting. We're not quite at the wildflowers. Texas is famous for having beautiful wildflowers. You might just be a little before the wildflowers blossom.
Oh, I don't know. I think it'll.
You think it will?
It's been cold, but it's going to be in the 70s.
Oh, that's not bad.
And 40s.
That's better than you've been having up country.
Yeah. Oh, it's been so cold up there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to spring in Texas.
Yeah, definitely. And then you're going to be traveling around the country. Going to...
I'll be in the Midwest. My base will be Missouri, where my stuff is. The few things I still have, which are not in Thailand, are in Jackson, Missouri. And then I'll be fanning out from there to Iowa and Illinois and Kansas. Then I think I'll be heading back home to Chiang Mai, Thailand in July.
Now, you've rented a house there for how long?
7.5 years now.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
A long time.
Because you tend to be a nomadic person.
I have been.
Yeah.
But I don't want to... I like travel. I'm a 5 numerologically.
Uh-huh.
And that's the number of travel.
You have 2 books out, and you really are an expert in astrology and body language and do fabulous spiritual counseling. And that's, and you do shamanic work. And so it's been great for you because of that. A lot of people can't get to that point where they can travel and do it. But you have found a home in Thailand. And I would like to talk to you a little bit about the options. I know we've talked a little before about what it takes to live. And actually, I guess to use a word that is really not correct anymore, I don't think anyone retires anymore. But a lot of people are thinking of moving to places that might be more inexpensive and interesting, and some people are just tired of America and want to move on. And Thailand seems to be in the running for places. I did an interview with someone about Canada, and it turns out Canada was rather expensive and not easy to get into.
Yes, for a residency visa, it's quite expensive.
Yeah.
Thailand, I'm finally considering a retirement visa. That's what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
The other option would be a 1-year visa, non-immigrant. I'm going to go to the consulate in Chicago and talk to them about this, my different options. And it is retirement. They're very paranoid. That's a strong word, but they really don't want foreigners to work in their country.
Interesting.
Whenever possible.
Is it competition? They see it as competition for their own?
Yeah, they see Thai people losing jobs. That's their point of view. So with a retirement visa, you're not allowed to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have $27,000, give or take. I mean, depending on the value of the dollar, right? But that's about what it is in Thai banks. And they're tightening up the regulations now.
So you would have to deposit $27,000. It could be a bank in Chiang Mai where you live?
Yes.
And you can't use that money at all? You can't write checks that money's kept
Every
separate?
3 months there has to be that amount of money in there.
Wow.
So theoretically I could withdraw and then I'd have to put it back.
Interesting.
So it's basically for the Thai banking system and government to use.
And is that, it goes on forever? I mean, is it just for, wow.
Forever.
Okay.
Until you croak.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting thing for people to know. Now, that could be why a lot of people just do the visa where you go every 6 months in and out, which is the visa you're on right now.
That's the one I've been using the last few years.
And what's that one called?
Tourist visa, multiple entry.
Well, I can see why that tourist visa would be something, and you like traveling anyway, and you wouldn't have to make the commitment of the $27,000 with that.
I'd rather do it, the version of it, which is 1 year long.
So the version is you can do 6 months or 1 year?
I think they call the 1 year non-immigrant.
Ah.
The tourist visa limit is 6 months. So this time I got it in July.
Uh-huh.
And then when I needed to exit the country in February, I went to Burma, Myanmar, a road trip actually. And then I got 30 days when I re-entered Thailand. Ordinarily, when you walk across the river, it wasn't by air, you know. It was just walking or driving. You only get 15 days.
Oh, really?
But I did my song and dance, how much I love Thailand. I was speaking Thai, and they cheerfully gave me 30 days, which was very nice. Because I had miscalculated my exit date, and I would have had to have paid a fee.
Oh, really?
Just 500 baht, which is like $17.
Oh, that's not bad,
much,
no.
per day.
Oh, per day.
Yeah,
okay.
it was just 1 day I would have had to pay. But I don't like going through emigration and having to pay the fine. As it turned out, I was in line for an hour, literally, to get my exit stamp because they're not prepared for Chinese tourism, which is all tours. So huge tour groups from China going through Chiang Mai.
Well, this is so true, and I noticed it when I went on this last trip to New Zealand and Australia. And I know I've been hearing our different travel shows talking about Chinese tourism increasing, but I was blown away by how many tourists were doing the cruise that I did around New Zealand and then Australia. And all they talked about in some of these places like Australia is how a lot of people from Hong Kong are buying up huge blocks of property and investing. And because there is the money there now, a lot of it's going into places. This happened, of course, when there was Hong Kong originally. A lot of people went to Canada and Vancouver.
Yeah.
Now they're doing places like Sydney and New Zealand as well, which is driving the prices up. But it's, as you mentioned, a lot of places aren't ready to handle the tourism, and you saw it there in Thailand. So this is something that's not just in one place. It's a wave of tourism that's happening from China.
The good thing in Thailand, from their point of view, and I agree with them, foreigners cannot own land. They can own buildings, but not the land that the building is on. So that really severely limits foreign investment.
Well, that's a good point.
In terms of real estate.
Absolutely.
You have to marry somebody, and then through the wife or the husband, you can own the property. But really,
let's talk about that. If you were to marry someone, a lot of times what happens is that the customs of the local people are different than you might have in America. They're not as wealthy, usually the people you'd meet there.
You marry the family.
You marry the family.
That's the general characteristic of marriage.
And when you say you marry the family, that means you're responsible financially for the family, not just that you got to go to you don't even have a Thanksgiving dinner, obviously. You don't go to a dinner there. You pay for them, which can be...
That's the usual way it is. Not always, but generally the poorer people are more open to marrying foreigners.
Free meal ticket.
I don't want to get into the class system in Thailand, but it really is quite... The class system is alive and well there. Mm-hmm. I'd say maybe it's... I don't know if it's comparable to England, but there's a definite hierarchy in the class system. Mm-hmm. And the upper class, if you would marry into the upper class, which would be difficult to do, but that's a whole different thing. Mm-hmm. But there, they still live in compounds. Mm. Like China used to do, under the emperor.
Yeah.
Upper class people would live in compounds with different dwellings and common areas. And it's just a whole different mindset.
Now, you travel a lot from there. You went recently to, you said Myanmar.
Yes.
But is that considered, going to Vietnam or Myanmar, is that considered enough to get past just the 30 days and you can have another 6 months?
Absolutely, sure.
So that's not hard to do.
No, you could go to immigration, which has been streamlined, and pay about $60 and get a 30-day extension. Mm-hmm.
But 30 days. But what if you want another 6 months?
Then you'd have to leave the country and deal with that, like in Penang, Malaysia, or Hong Kong, or maybe Hanoi, some other place.
Let's talk about that. We had an interesting talk the other day about the economics and how savvy some of the Southeast Asian people are about money, or how they don't. I mean, you find that it also ties in with work ethics of people.
The Vietnamese are the workaholics.
That's interesting, isn't it?
And they're very different from other Asians in that you know exactly what they're thinking. Mm-hmm. They're not circumspect like Thais, where it's like Southerners in the United States. They don't say what they mean. You have to read between the lines. In Vietnam, it's very much in your face.
Oh, really?
Which I find refreshing, actually.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I'd want to live in Vietnam, but it's very refreshing coming from Thailand and talking to a Vietnamese person when you know where they're coming from.
Uh-huh. There's such a difference, and we have to remember, just like, obviously, Chiang Mai, where you live, is very different than Bangkok. In fact, you don't go to Bangkok hardly at all anymore, right?
I went through the airport for the first time in many years and was reminded of why I don't go there.
And I know people that just from here in America like to go to Bangkok. But Chiang Mai is much smaller, and it's a different atmosphere. It's not.
It's like Maui, thinking Maui no Ka'oi.
Yeah.
We think Chiang Mai no Ka'oi, Marin County no Ka'oi. It's like that.
But it's the same thing in Vietnam. There's different cities and different areas that are become extremely popular. Now, again, the cruise ships come in. The cruise ships are going to a lot of these places.
They probably go to Hawaii, even though it's not on the ocean. It's like 12 kilometers from the ocean, so they probably go there. That is my favorite place in Vietnam.
Why?
It was the imperial capital during the last dynasty in the 19th century. The last emperor, who abdicated in 1945, had 72 elephants. And when I was there 10 years ago, there were still 2 left and waving at them.
Okay.
Because they were waving at me with their trunks, in this huge expanse of grassland. I thought, they're so lonely, but I was afraid. I didn't know elephants. at the time. Mm-hmm. Now I probably would have gone over, "Hi, how you doing? Here's some bananas." But then it was new to me, and I just waved back and went the other way. But it was very charming, a huge archaeological site from that period.
Now, Ho Chi Minh City has gotten huge as well. A lot of people going there as well.
Friendly people, I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I liked Hanoi, but the people were not friendly. But now I hear they're much friendlier.
Because there's money.
Yes.
And it's changed the face of their economy. There's more hotels.
Hoi An was the big tourist center right off the coast.
You have another guest.
Yes.
That I visited right after Hue.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many places in Vietnam I would like to visit, which I have not been yet.
Well, and there's, besides the river cruises, besides the big cruise ships, the river cruises are now going to places like Myanmar, and they're going to Vietnam, and there's river
Laos,
cruises
the
like going to
Mekong
Laos.
River.
Hey, come and sit down. And Andrew Annenberg just came in. Andrew Annenberg is I was telling you, one of my favorite artists. He's a visionary artist, and does fantastic artwork.
I love your dolphins.
Yes, he's. You can move forward.
Friendly.
You can move forward here, Andrew. Yes, he has beautiful visions. I love your visions, Andrew. So, but if people were going to do this kind of thing, when you say you're thinking of this retirement visa, can you still, at that point, do your business as you would do it online through your computer, and that is allowed, or do you have to report that, or how do you work that?
I prefer not to discuss that.
Okay, got it.
Under the radar is what it's called.
Well, a lot of that happens here.
Thank you, PayPal.
It's understandable, definitely. And it's good to know that you can. I mean, a lot of people who are in that point of retirement, quote, unquote, retirement, are able to do things where they are artists, or whether they do consultations, or they do work where they can do it wherever they are. Yes. Are flexible enough to then be able to take their work with them, which I think more and more people are getting to that point. And because I don't know many people that just retire. And even if you call it retirement, you're still looking for, obviously, still good deals, because you're living on kind of limited income, or income cut back from what it was.
I know many people in Thailand who have retired. And they worry a lot about money. Mm-hmm. When the dollar or the pound devalues, they worry. Mm-hmm. It's the Thai baht is strong right now.
It is. Is it because of the tourism?
We have no idea why. We think it's being propped up by the government. Uh-huh. But ostensibly it's because of the trade with China. Uh-huh. They actually have a positive trade balance. More exports than imports.
Oh, that's good.
They're doing very well with their trade with China.
And what do they trade? Art?
I
don't know what they make industrially.
They make lots of Toyotas. So, yeah. They do have some industrial complex. And I think they still are trading wood, raw materials. The forests are still disappearing.
Yes, unfortunately.
Fish, that's a big, big export. Is Thai fisheries. So it's a fertile country.
But tourism is a huge income base as well, right? I mean, tourism brings in lots of money.
Absolutely.
Definitely for Bangkok, and more, I think. Since you've been there, the 7 years you've been there, have you been seeing more and more coming
10 years.
10 years. Have you been seeing more and more coming into Chiang Mai?
Yeah, the Chinese deluge started about 5 years ago.
Wow.
It used to be more Americans, Europeans, Australians, and now the majority of the tourists are Chinese.
So how much do you pay rent?
About $280 a month, U.S. dollars.
Oh, my God.
That's why I keep the house all year round.
That's amazing, $280. You couldn't even get half a garage for that here. You couldn't.
I pay my Meban, my house cleaner, about $3.30 an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And that's more than the going rate.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that definitely makes a difference.
I keep her on full time.
Yeah.
When I'm here,
Wow.
because I can.
And for going out to eat?
My favorite pad thai is 40 baht, which is like $1.50. That's my favorite pad thai in Chiang Mai.
Wow.
Around the corner from my house.
So you can live there a lot less than you can live here on Maui.
I was talking to an American in the airport in Korea. Mm-hmm. He's talking about he was in Bangkok paying $10, $15 for pad thai. I said, you got totally ripped off, because he went to the tourist joints. Mm-hmm. And they're in the old city. They cater to the tourists. Mm-hmm. And you can pay astronomical prices.
$10, my gosh.
Which would be comparable to Maui prices. Those would be astronomical.
Just a little more than a Starbucks here, yeah. Do you have Starbucks in Chiang Mai?
I refuse to patronize them because I don't have to. We have very good coffee, and I don't need to use their coffee.
Yeah. People can reach out to you for all kinds of consultations, spiritual, yes. Astrological.
zarobert@aol.com. And I will be in the States for the next few months. So I'm at 268-8047. Legally, I live on Maui, so I have an 808 area code, 268-8047. You can text me. I will respond to texts as long as I'm in the States.
Oh, that's great. Andrew, come up to the mic.